This is brutal. The people over at Fox News do not like Donald Trump's historically unpopular VP pick, and they make that more and more clear every day. I mean, JD Vance is somehow even less popular than Sarah Palin was, and I didn't even think that was possible. But JD Vance went on to Fox News, which should be home turf. It should be friendly territory, right? And Trey Gowdy still ended up pinning him down on his childless cat lady comments, and Trey Gowdy even primes the Fox News audience before JD Vance comes on by saying, hey, I disagree with a lot of these absurd comments. Make sure you leave a like on the video and let's dig into this Fox News segment where they just bury JD Vance. It is brutal.
I've watched that interview many times, and you should too, in full, and draw your own conclusions. When that interview surfaced, two things leapt to my mind. Those of us who talk for a living make mistakes. We say things that in hindsight we might phrase differently or better or not at all. And then I thought about a stormy day at Reagan National Airport where I met two women desperately trying to get home to South America. I was trying to get home to South Carolina. We spent the whole day together, finally making it to Charlotte, and then somehow we got them on a flight to Houston. They were headed to visit family in South America before returning to their new home called America. And when we parted ways, they said they'd like to pray for me as their way of saying thanks for the day spent together. And I assured them it's too late to help me. But I do have a friend who's expecting, and she got some tough news about her unborn child. Would they please pray for her instead? And they did, and they still do to this day. They're Catholic nuns, childless, dedicated to God, love this country, living lives of service to others. And it's not just Catholic nuns. Some of the finest people I know don't have children. Teachers and guidance counselors and lawyers and doctors, and they love other people's children enough to teach and guide and protect and minister to them. Some people choose not to have children. Others desperately want them, but they can't. In a moment, we'll speak with Senator JD Vance. We have never met before, but we have many friends in common who tell me that he is smart and he is talented and he is more than capable. None is perfect, no, not one. That's what the good book says. And the American people are forgiving if we ask.
Alright, so I have an even better clip of Trey Gowdy pinning JD Vance down, but there were a few things going on there. First of all, Trey begins by sort of running defense for JD Vance, as Fox News always does. He says, people make mistakes when they speak publicly, but then he tells a personal anecdote which was honestly somewhat empathetic, surprisingly empathetic for somebody that works for Fox News, which is just a propaganda machine. I mean, he told a story of some people that he met, and of course they were uber religious people. They were nuns, but he says that many people are childless. Many people can't have children. Many people choose not to have children. And in this clip, he elaborates and says it is not fair to say these people should have less of a say. So what does it tell you when even Fox News is honestly burying JD Vance? And of course, it's not perfect. Trey Gowdy ends it off by saying that the American people are forgiving, and he cites the Bible. But the majority of his intro was spent priming the Fox News audience to not like JD Vance. Alex Floyd says, this is a Fox News intro to a JD Vance interview. With any other VP pick, I think Fox News would have ran a 5-minute segment talking about the VP pick's childhood, how great of a person they are, but they had to dedicate this time because apparently this comment actually bothered Trey Gowdy. On to this next clip of Trey pinning JD Vance down.
Because people are calling me who very much would like to support you and President Trump. Dr. Connie Rice does not have children, neither does my friend, your colleague, Tim Scott. George Washington did not have biological children, and neither did James Madison. So I think you will agree with me that direct offspring are not necessary to be fully invested in the future of this country.
Of course not, Trey. I do think that being a parent actually has a profound effect on somebody's perspective, and we should honor and respect that. But there are a whole host of people who don't have children for a whole host of reasons, and they certainly are great people who can participate fully in the life of this country. And that's not what I said, Trey. If you look at what the left has done, they have radically taken this out of context and, in fact, aggressively lied about what I've said. What I do think is true, Trey, and this goes to the heart of what I was talking about 3 years ago in those comments, but it's going to be something I continue to talk about, is that the left has increasingly become explicitly anti-child and anti-family. They've encouraged young families not to have children at all because of concerns over climate change.
I just want to pause it really quickly because he's spewed so much BS. First of all, he has absolutely said those things and nothing was taken out of context. He has said those things not once, not twice, but there are like 4 to 5 different clips of him making the exact same comment and then doubling down on those comments. Number 2, the idea that Democrats are anti-family or anti-child is just not true whatsoever. We want to make it easier for different family structures to exist, whether that is single-family households who need some support from the government, or families with 2 dads and 2 moms. We want to make it easier for a diverse amount of family structures to exist within one society. We want to make it flexible. We want to build a flexible society where everybody can maximize their happiness. Nobody is anti-child. Nobody is anti-family. I mean, Republicans would want to have you believe that liberals just want to suck happiness away from every single family. No, we can acknowledge that 2-family households scientifically lead to better outcomes in children's lives, but a lot of the times that just isn't the reality. That a lot of times it isn't possible for there to be a 2-parent household for whatever reason or another. So we want to build a society that helps uplift family structures that aren't just comprised of the old traditional 1 mom, 1 dad, and 2 children or whatever. JD Vance can't see that. I mean, nobody here is anti-family. Nobody is anti-child.
Suggested that people who do have children are somehow all because of concerns over climate change. They've suggested that people who do have children are somehow being selfish, when I think being a parent is actually the most selfless thing that you can do, and again, really does transform your perspective. So this is not a criticism, and was never a criticism, Trey, of everybody without children. That is a lie of the left. It is a criticism of the increasingly anti-parent and anti-child attitude of the left.
Republicans do this thing where they conflate the positions of super extremist activists and think that all Democrats believe that. Are there probably some super far left people who are anti-family? Yeah, but those people probably don't support President Biden in the first place, and President Biden is currently the president. He's the leader of the Democratic Party, and President Biden has a beautiful family under him. He has a bunch of grandchildren. President Biden is the last thing from anti-family. JD Vance is honestly just making stuff up, and I can't believe he's trying to backpedal and claim that he never said a lot of these comments when, number 1, we have him on video saying them multiple times, and number 2, he pretty explicitly has a snarky tone where he's calling out childless cat ladies who have, quote, no stake in our future. He said no stake, and then the goal for him to come out only 3 years later and say, hey, I never said that. It is the typical gaslighting that you find from MAGA. I mean, at least with Joe Biden's wacky comments, they happened 40 to 50 years ago. JD Vance has wild comments from 3 years ago, and he's trying to brush them off. Either way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button. It all means the world to me. I love the community that we have all built together heading into this election. Community is important. We can all cheer together. We can all panic together. We can laugh and cry together. It is amazing having you guys, and I appreciate it all. Make sure you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.